Alright, so we're gonna get this started. Alright guys, my name is KLM1187 and I am going to be running Hammerin Harry for the NES. It is a short run, it is a platformer. It's pretty quick, so I will explain it the best I can. I'll have plenty of time, there's some cutscenes, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Alright, I will count it down in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is the first level here. Basically, from what I've gathered anyways, the point of this game is this evil construction conglomerate has stolen Harry's girlfriend, so we're on a mission to get her back. He's armed with his hammer, as you can see. So this first stage, these little yellow guys are pretty random, so you just gotta be careful avoiding them as they fall down. Try to jump in there. Okay, we got it. Okay, this is the first boss here. We're gonna do a combination of these attacks here to keep him in the corner so we can kill him nice and quickly. Alright, that's pretty slow, but... Alright. So that's the first boss there. Pretty easy. So this is the first of the 3 very long cutscenes in the middle of this run. So I guess at this point I can just explain a little bit about some of the attacks here. So we have 3 different attacks basically. We have the standing slash here. We have this upwards kind of poke attack. And then we'll have the downward strike attack. So this does the most damage, this downward strike attack. So this is what we'll be using the most. The downward strike attack can also hit the ground, as we saw earlier. So there's a power-up that makes the hammer bigger and more powerful. That ground pound attack can actually kill enemies. With this, the smaller hammer, it does not. It just stuns them. So, but we'll see a little bit of that. So this is the second stage here. There's a pretty tough skip that we'll go for coming up. So you can see we're using the downward strike to kill that guy quickly. So right here in these boxes we'll see that big power up. You can see just how much bigger the hammer is. So right here I'm going to go for a skip here. See if we can get it. Okay, we missed it. That's okay. So you can just skip this whole ladder climbing section if you can get up there. If not, we'll just do it this way. So you can see how much time that would save. This part here we'll just have to wait, and we'll climb down. Funny thing about this game too is it will eat a lot of your jump inputs, so you have to be very careful when you're walking towards any ledges. But you can just see how powerful this power-up is here. So this guy is like a little mini-boss, I guess. It only takes 2 shots here. I'll try to keep him on that side of the screen. That was pretty good. Alright, so we're coming down to the second boss here. This guy will be gone as quickly as you see him. There he is. So just 2 attacks there and then he's done. Alright, so that was stage 2. So we'll be coming to the second of our long cutscenes here. It's a nice little break in between these stages. The stages aren't terribly hard. There's not too much randomness in this game, but so these cutscenes, they're basically like a mini game. So we can see she's tied up here. You basically want to kill as many enemies as you can, but we don't want to do that in the speed run because it counts down and we have to wait for that. Let's see, so other things about this game, there's no run button, he only walks at 1 set speed. Same thing with the jump too, that you cannot control the height of your jump. He just jumps at a set height every time, so that kind of changes how you have to navigate through some of these levels as well. Alright, so stage number 3, it's kind of like an auto-scroller as well. Just gotta be careful for this first enemy here. There we go. Alright, we'll take this guy out. So this guy we're gonna stun here, and then we're gonna use our downward strike attack to make quick work of him. You gotta be careful jumping on that boat because it's so easy to bounce right into the water if you're not careful. So these guys, if we just stand right here and duck, we can pretty much avoid most of them. You just have to be careful. There are certain patterns that will come and hit you. So you do have to pay attention to this part. But for the most part, these guys will just fly right over you. So the end of this section, we have to be careful. There's 2 birds here. We don't want to take damage because this boss has a couple of different patterns. So we want to make sure that we have full life in case we don't get the optimal pattern. Okay, so we got the best pattern here, so we can just do our downward strikes and just make quick work of that guy, no problem. And then so we'll have the final one of our long cutscenes here. So to avoid those birds, you just want to do 4 jumps just to kind of keep them in the air. Otherwise they can swoop down and do damage on you. So you can see the health bar at the bottom left of the screen. You do start every stage with 3 hit points. The iframes don't last too long in this game. There's not many damage boosts that will do, as seen in other platformers. So, but you do have 3 hit points, just in case. There are other power-ups that you can get throughout the game, but they're not really useful in the speedrun. Some of them would be, there's a hard hat, which can give you an extra hit. There's a spinning hammer attack, which can hit on both sides of you. There's also, I just found out recently that there's like a different pants upgrade that you can jump higher, but again, it doesn't really prove any use, so I gotta be careful going through this. This first section of this stage is very difficult. We don't really want to take too much damage here. Okay, we had to wait a little bit for that guy to go down, but we're good. Alright, so we'll have kind of like a mini boss here as well. Little secretary. So we'll just do a couple hits. Now we gotta be careful where we're standing here. We don't want to scroll the screen too far, otherwise we won't be able to run under these things. So we did it perfectly. This part you have to go a little bit past the door before you can go into it. Okay. So we do a downward strike to kill this wall. Now this part we do have to wait out as well. We have to kill a certain amount of enemies. So we can see with the big hammer upgrade, just 1 ground pound will kill all these enemies. So we have to do this, from what I've counted, it's like anywhere between 12 and 15 times in order for the door to open. I'm not really sure what the reasoning behind that part is, but... Alright, so we'll get to the 4th boss here. So that's the main antagonist of the game, is the guy in the wheelchair, excuse me. Okay, so we gotta be careful for her. She'll jump around and do kind of these jumping kick attacks. Okay, I wasn't paying attention enough, and that's okay. Just gonna take more hits with the smaller hammer, and we just gotta be careful. So just gonna pay attention here. We're using the downward strikes again, because it does the most damage. So usually it takes 3 hits with the bigger hammer, but I think it took 5 with the smaller one. So, alright, so now we'll come up to the last stage. So we're just gonna pick up this upgrade here, just to make quick work of some of the other later parts of this stage. This stage is the most difficult of the run. There's a water section at the end of this level that is just extremely difficult. It's very hard to get through it first try without dying, so hopefully we'll be able to do that here. We gotta wait for a second for that this ball to come over. Alright, so this part right here. I went too fast. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, well we made it through. It's gonna be hard not to take damage on. Alright, this is the final boss here. Time will be on the final hit. Okay, and that's time. That went a little too fast and I could even explain it, so. But we made it through without dying, so that is, I'm very happy with that. Most runs will die in that stage because it's basically impossible to get through that last part without dying. So I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, that's Hammering Harry. It's a nice quick run. It's not terribly hard to learn either, so if anyone's interested in a quick, nice, easy game that's fun and easy to learn, I mean, I would just pick it up. It's fun. And I think we're just about 2 minutes.